Everyone, it's a great pleasure, dear ones, to spend time with you always. You know, you always want to keep things simple. And whenever you get complex, or you think your condition is complex, then it pulls you deeper away from your ability to think you can fix it. And you have, each and every one of you have total power and total awareness to fix all these things. Some things might take some time, especially those that have mutations and things like this. It takes a while to unmutate, so to speak. But you have to have faith in the world, in God, in nature, and understand that it isn't just negative and decay. There is the positive and regenerative. And for you guardians and you beautiful souls on Facebook, we are the guardians of that positive consciousness, of consciousness itself. Other groups, they play with the mind, they play with positive thinking, things like this. Positive thinking is still thinking. So you've got to get away from the mind. And those of you that are able to do that are the guardians of the consciousness. And you are bringing forth that level of awareness. And it's key. If you don't have someone always directing people in the simplicity of things, then mind wins and complexity takes over. I start adding digestive enzymes because everybody said it's okay. I'm adding probiotics. I'm adding this. I'm adding a little magnesium. I'm drinking salt water. I'm drinking 9 pH water. When you keep getting pulled in these directions, you have to come back and think common sensely what you can't do. And sometimes all this is in a treatment-based thinking, and some of these people that come out with these absurd things are not practitioners. They haven't spent most of their life getting people well, especially at this level. And so you just don't want to buy into some of these things. Some of you have to keep it simple and on point all the time. Because again, we're building a strength, but we're also building a scientific understanding. We're also building a very reputable and all of that in a science called detoxification. It's about time that we put detoxification into books and how to do it. And I've got another book coming out called the Practice and Science of Detoxification, because it is important that we learn the science behind all this, and that's what we've been talking on this site, is the science, what we can verify without theory. I'll say this to you. I don't believe in theories. I don't go for theories. I go for actualities. And actualities is what you can, as an individual healer, take yourself or someone else down the road to Wellville. That's a big deal. And it's simplistic. The road can be windy, twisty, and pitfalls once in a while. But that's the nature of the beast, because you're unwinding karma. You're unwinding a lot of things in your life, not just in the physical world. Remember, in the emotional components. Remember, that's the adrenals. Everybody's so down in the adrenals, but we are at an emotional instability in the human race, and we have no control over the mind. So narcissism rules. I'm better than you. That sort of thinking. And that's ridiculous. But that's what these bodies do when they're out of balance. But they're not you. And just keep working on becoming the you. All right? Now, I'm going to try to get as much as I can. I've had a no-show today, and so that works out good for us, don't it? All right, this one is herbs and testosterone in men. What are the top herbs for male enhancement and raising testosterone, lowering estrogen in men? You know, if I was to stop there and say, you know what, if the truth be known, make tissue healthy. That's all you got to do, is make cells healthy. Well, that means you have to have a healthy kitchen and you have to have a healthy sewer system. That's exactly what that means. And then the pathway finds its own. Now, that's a simplistic approach. When you want to know what herbs are good for that, I like damiana. I mean, damiana is definitely one that's not overly aggressive, because here's the problem. Remember, if you have prostatitis or you have prostate cancer, anything like that where you suspect any of that, you do not want to use male enhancement herbs, and you're going to have male enhancement problems when you have inflammation or acidosis building up in the prostate and testicles. You're going to have this problem. And of course, with that always is what weakness? The adrenal glands, where the final testosterone takes place, right? So, and estrogen. So making these tissues healthy is key always to the balancing of steroids or hormones or neurotransmitters as far as that's concerned, right? But I've used yohimbe before. These are hot. When you start getting into some of these herbs for the prostate and for males, they're hot. And that's the issue. When you're already highly acidic, you're hot. You can feel cold, but be hot. You know what I'm saying? Some of you get that. And that's those with the low thyroids. It's burning inside from acidosis. You're cold, but you're hot. Panax ginseng always. Now, Siberian is not true ginseng, but it is a good adrenal popper. But at Panax ginseng, quai, I was just reading this thing that this company that bought Blessed Herbs has on their site about quai and stuff. And you know, I mean, everybody is willing to grab. This one lady blamed quai on the mutation of her baby, and that's a huge stretch, because these are what's the word I'm looking for? These are tonics. Tonics don't mutate. Tonics strengthen. Tonics strengthen cells. And that's why you see that 256-year-old Chinese guy. Get on Google and Google 256-year-old Chinese man and see what comes up for yourselves. I've got a painting up here of him, a picture of that. And this was from Dr. Jensen's personal office. And I can just say that I think it was Wallach or one of them wrote a lot about him. It's enough to say that this man claimed to do ginseng 4 to 5 times a day. He claimed to eat nothing that grows below the ground. And I think there was a statement made that if the higher off the ground you eat, the healthier you will be. Well, that's suggestive of fruitarianism, but which is true. You know, humans don't live long. They're sicker than any other species on the planet, but look at the dietary habits. He's eating omnivorish when he's really a frugivore. And just changing your diet corrects 90% of your problems. Just changing your friggin' diet. It's amazing, you know, to see that. I am careful with the hot herbs, like the yohimbes and things, really kind of cautious with some of those, even the panaxes, when you have inflammation or prostatitis. Better to get the kidneys to filter, get the adrenals up, that'll clean the prostate, or in the female side, that'll get rid of this next one I was going to read. I just took a quick glance and it said, one of these said POTS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. One of these somewhere. Where you're popping multiple cysts on the ovaries. But you're doing that on the bladder, on the kidneys. I mean, this is just the lymph system. And this is what happens when you have kidney and adrenal weaknesses. And again, about 99% of all of us humans have that weakness. Less so on islanders, of course, especially those that are the older ones that didn't get into the animal foods, things like that. The poorer islanders are the healthiest. They come in here in their 90s and 100s all the time, and they look real. They look at least 30 years their senior. So it's just amazing to see that, and it's proof, you know, with all their teeth and everything else. You know, there's no other way to look at other than your lifestyle. And when you go talk about genetics, go back to lifestyle again. Medical doctors are getting lost in the genes, and you're missing this gene. One guy said you didn't have a gene to detoxify. You know, this kind of ridiculous that's the problem. They're so ridiculous that they're now, I mean, they're just so lost. But when you understand that the world order, the world bankers, what's coming, the fact that the determination of a lot of humans are essential for the future. I mean, there's a lot going on there that the average human around the globe has no clue what's going on, and what they've done to you with your birth certificates and taking you into a jurisdiction of the governments around the world. It's amazing what they've done to try to gain control of the planet. Amazing stuff, scary stuff, big time. So that's all I can say is I'd make my adrenal glands healthy. By making the adrenals and kidneys healthy and filtration, you're going to clean up the testicles and you're going to clean up the prostate. So then you'll have healthy levels of testosterone. Here's another thing, guys, though. When you're on a high fruit diet, it's not really gonadal. You know, I've always said if you want to have good lovemaking, eat a piece of meat. You know, I mean, that sounds insane, but vibrational issues. When you're etheric, you want to bond in another way. So it's interesting, you know, and I don't really mean to go out and get pieces of meat, but I'm just saying that you tend to, as you get healthier, work from here instead of the body. And I've always said that you should never know you're carrying around a human body. You should never know that. If the human body is healthy, you'll not know you have one. You only know you have one when you have obstructions in the human body, where you're getting resistance to the flow of energy. And of course, that generally is more protein acids, which then is inflammatory. So then associated pain and all that implies comes out of that. And really, when the healthier you are, you're working from up here. It's just a natural thing. Because the more energy you have, the more consciousness you have, the more awareness. Remember, quantum physics, energy is intelligence. Wild to think, but it helps you to break through this concept that God is something physical, or a physical-like being, that sort of thing. Because it's time man on this planet realizes that most of God is not physical. Most of creation is non-physical. This is just a low level of creation. There are many, many levels of creation of which you have bodies on. And this is the most chemical lowest body there is. So it's tough down here for souls, you know. What are your thoughts on drinking ozonated water? Good question. You know what? I did have ozone machines for a while and always got bad headaches. And then I remember them coming out talking about man is dealing with these machines are way too much ozone. So I don't know what to say about that. I really don't, you know. I've never taken any time to experiment drinking ozonated water. I would say that cautious always about things when you're trying to change the structures of things or impart different things to it, because, you know, the ozone layer can get you. So it's just being real cautious about things. And I don't know what one's trying to achieve by doing that, is trying to get more oxygen, you know, but there's other ways to do that, you know, other ways to do that. Is this something that can be done while taking the herbs and detoxifying? You can, absolutely. You know, I'm just saying cautious to the wind on some of these things. It's like the high alkaline waters. You can't bring in higher pH than your blood, as you can't bring in lower pHs. You start messing with the pH of the blood, you can't bitch if something happens to you bad. And that's the problem. When you start messing with the blood pH, and that's why I'm kind of down on practitioners that push these things like high alkaline waters and stuff, or salt waters. You can put yourself in the emergency room real quick doing stuff like that. And you just, common sense, you know, you don't go out and drink ocean water. You don't go out and do any of that sort of thing. And that's just not a healthy way to do, and the chemistry just doesn't fit. You'll get yourself in big time trouble. But there's people out there always seeking a remedy, but they're always trying to think treatment-based. And you guys aren't involved in treatment-based thinking. This isn't a treatment-based thinking site. This is rolling up your sleeves and going after the cause of the problem. Because treatment-based thinking in today's world, where man is at his health issues, is a big waste of time, because nothing works. Vitamins and minerals, and then you feel a little better. You know, pharmaceuticals are a deadly path to hellville. So there's this really, you know, you have to back up and start going, wow, we need to go back and fix this karmic downslide of genes and everything else. And there's only one way to do it, and that is make the body healthy. That's where the controversy comes in again. And then, of course, diets and things like this. But ultimately, cleaning out the human body getting the eliminative organs back in line and filtering, getting the all the acids and the mucus and the heavy metals, the mercury out of your mouth, get your body restored closer back to nature, and you won't believe how well Wellville is. It can be so well, you're going, whoa, whoa. At this point in time, some of the fruits where I live are just not ripe, and that's sad, I know. And you do the very best you can. I have the same friggin' problem right here, and I'm in a subtropical region. The only fruit that tastes good are the bananas, the watermelons, and the lemons. Isn't that unfortunately? But those are all good. Watermelon, lemons are good detoxifiers. Bananas, nature's perfect food, but not a great detoxifier. Grapes are pretty well rounded, so I would think surely hopefully we could get some grapes. If you could only live on grapes, that would be cool. If you were detoxified, and it might even detoxify you, but if you lived on an island where you only had coconuts and bananas, you can't believe how much of a Superman you can become with just those two foods, and that's all you had to eat. What are your thoughts on a banana, watermelon, and lemon juice diet while taking the herbs? Thoughts are good. From the videos that I have watched on your YouTube, I would conclude that bananas, watermelons would be more beneficial than greens. And you are absolutely right, George. You are absolutely 100% right. I mean, just take yourself a nice piece of seeded watermelon that's ripe, or a piece of kale. I'm sorry, but most humans are going to go to the sweet watermelon. There are some that'll go and chomp on the kale. Hope you have a couple of stomachs in there. Now, I'm a 34-year-old female who believed antibiotics were the magic pill to everything. Oops. For the longest time, I've been burning my owl. Yeah, honey, that's true, man. You have been burning her stomach. I had a blood clot in my thigh and lung at age 21. Oh my God. 21, she had 2 blood clots. Oh my God. Diagnosed with factor V deficiency and placed on warfarin. Factor V deficiency, warfarin. Oh my God. For life, but have taken them for the last 13 years. Oh. Here's again, medical is so radical in their thinking because they don't have any answers. They don't understand the lymph system and what acids do to the human body because they give you nothing but acids. So you burn your stomachs, you burn your livers. Absolutely. They don't get it. And until they do, they're killers. And I don't know what you can say about that. But that's what the world bankers want. I mean, look who really started the AMA, really got it going. That's John Rockefeller. Who started the American Cancer Society? John Rockefeller Jr. These are all world bankers. Their agenda is totally to wipe out 90% of the population. That's their agenda. And they don't make no bones about it anymore. Remember I told you the America Unearthed? That program has got that forensic geologist. He was discovering that whole thing. He discovered the Stonehenge, where was that? North Carolina somewhere, where the world bankers had this monument raised and it said there shall be no more than 500 million people on the planet for a sustainable planet. I mean, you just got to get with there's some serious stuff going on out there, and most people have no clue. As long as you don't mess with the government or mess with anything, you'll be okay until they decide to get rid of you. I mean, it's scary out there. Last 2 pregnancies, I have had to inject heparin the whole 9 months. Son of a gun. I don't like that. That's horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. First thing you got to do, obviously, is to get your diet more on fruits, berries, and melons. When you're talking about the viscosity of blood and blood clots, you want your fruits and your berries and your melons. You don't want your greens. You want your fruits and your berries and your melons. That cleans the blood. I'd get on my blood formula, and I'd clean my liver out, and I'd clean my spleen out, and I'd get my kidneys filtering. All those 3 tissues affect blood very, very aptly. So you want to clean the liver, clean the spleen, and get the kidneys filtering, and get yourself on a high flavonoid diet, which is fruits, berries, and melons. This all keeps the blood perfect. This also gets the blood cells detached from each other or following each other like choo-choo trains back to their individuality, their individual natures. Therefore, getting the adrenals up, your iron will go up, you'll carry more oxygen, blah, 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 blah. Clean the lungs, all these things go to white blood clots. Not only you're missing X factor. Right. If you buy into those things, then you're sentenced to hell for the rest of your life. And I think that's the biggest crime, because what that medical doctor doesn't know is karma. It's all karma. Even if you think you're doing it in the name of God, it's still karma. Nobody escapes that. Not the spiritual giants. Nobody escapes that. It's the way life is. They learn how to work with it. I have had to okay, oh my God. Oh, here, look at this. My last pregnancy was 9 months ago. I had diabetes look at that, and toxemia. That already tells me your problem. You're majorly backed up lymphatically. And of course, the diabetes, that's your adrenals. So your adrenals and kidneys are way down, and that can also show that your mineral utilization is down. Here's another one, guys. My platelets were low. What gland deals with platelets? Spleen. Now, you don't want to go to where you're forming bone marrow. So you really want to get the spleen, the liver, the kidneys cleaned up here. All 4 of my babies are fine. Really? Well, sweetheart, I'm going to tell you, don't buy into the gene crap. Buy into understanding that you need in your kids to get their adrenals and kidneys up and their lymph filtering, because they're still going to have every cell weakness you have. That's the way it is. Or at least if your husband can come in and pull, or the father of the children can pull things away, and then grandparents can pull things away a little bit. But ultimately, these weaknesses that you carry are going to be carried, but weaker down your line. Whether you get a little better in the kids, but your grandkids will whop you back. You got to be real careful. They might be a little young to expose their weaknesses yet. So this is a real important thing, honey. Since you've got kids, you're 4 kids, you want to think. Raise them on fruits, berries, and melons. That's what children should be raised on. And that'll get their kidneys cleaned and working. That'll start getting their nervous systems up. That'll start cleaning their lymph system. But just what you told me here shows how toxic you are. No wonder you're throwing clots. You're extremely acidic. You're extremely toxic, which that's toxemia. And then, of course, you got to get to hold of that spleen. You don't want to have low platelets. So clean the spleen, clean the liver, get into the kidneys and the adrenals. If you have to get into bone marrow, get into bone marrow. What you want to look at is your white blood cells too. You want to take a look at the white blood cells, because if they're a little low, go after your bone marrow. That's essential. Okay, very important to think that this is. All right, because what comes with when you don't? What they call cancer, which isn't a blood cancer, leukemia is not a cancer, but that is a spleen or bone marrow problem. And if it's a spleen, easy to fix. If it's a bone marrow, not so easy. It takes a while. And some of these chemical medications destroy the bone marrow. I mean, it's just insane that's out there. I've had numerous UTIs. So what are we talking about here? Kidneys. So we're back to the kidneys and adrenals, but you can't have toxemia without kidney filtration problems. Because if you're filtering your waste out, there's no toxemia involved. If you could also place toxemia with acidosis, but what's another word that goes with toxemia? Proteins. Proteins. Cold sores, look at that. All right, so cold sores, so you got herpes, and you know you're very acidic because herpes comes out, they're proteolytic. So the more acidic you are, you notice they come out. They only come out when you're highly acidic. So if you were sitting there sucking down on some unripe pineapple, and you didn't get a pineapple ripe off a plant, no, even if you let it sit there and get ripe, you're going to get some sores in your mouth because it's too acidic. Acids. And that's what virals deals with. Virals are protein. They're active in an acidic medium. They're dormant in a non-acidic medium. You can have HIV the rest of your life and not have AIDS. Or, so the more acidic, the more damage, the more toxemia, all of this stuff. And hemorrhoids. Well, You want to take a look at that parathyroid gland again. It sounds like your vascular walls are weak there. You want to look at the parathyroid, look at your fingernails, make sure you're utilizing calcium. You've had 4 babies. Did you have postpartum depression with any of them? Postpartum depression is, again, low calcium utilization. Babies took my calcium. Remember, Andrea Yates only had 1 more baby than you, sweetheart, and she drowned him because she thought that she was hallucinating. She was so chronically depressed from having children taking all her calcium out. And they didn't know how to fix her. Just give her antidepressants. I mean, this is time humans must wake up, because there's a lot going on beyond this health thing that survival is necessary to understand more what's going on. We can't no longer play the I don't want to know game. That's not conducive to survival now. Be conducive to one's end. Extremely fatigued. Well, my guess is your adrenals are way down. You had 4 babies, honey, so your adrenals have got to be way down. And if the parathyroid's down, you might have a little thyroid down with it. Now, I have burning in the back of my head. Floaters in my eyes. Okay, so this all, you have to fix yourself. Who am I talking to? I have no name on this. All I can say is, sweetheart, you got to fix yourself. You got to get your kidneys filtering and get this lymph. Do those neurolymphatics down the back. Use cold compresses where you feel the burning of the head. But let me tell you, burn is acid, and nothing good comes out of burning. You got to fix this, sweetheart, or you're going to get equilibrium. You're going to break down the optic nerves. You got the retina to think about. You could just have mucus floaters. You sure don't want detached retinas. Or pupils. Pupils can break down as well. All acid, as the fluid gets acidic, all fluids can get acidic and dehydrated. So whether wet or dry, who cares? It's all still acidosis. Wow. Put on iron pills due to heavy bleeding after birth of baby. Well, you know what that might be an indication of? Might be an indication you got some pituitary going on there. I'll be honest with you. When you're seeing too many of these things, guys, she probably has some pituitary. She's bleeding too much. So you could hit her pituitary with 1 bottle of pituitary glandular, 1 a.m., 1 p.m., what I would do for myself. Then I would go on a female reproductive formula, tone the uterus and ovaries after having 4 kids. At the same time, you got to fix some things. You got to fix your lymph system, because this is, this toxemia shows how bad your lymph system is. And you got to take some time for mama now and fix mama, because this is really important. Just had an ultrasound which they recommended a hysterectomy, leaving my ovaries to stop the bleeding. No. You don't have to go to all that trouble to remove your organs to stop bleeding. Matter of fact, if you want to back it down a little bit, get our bleeding formula. Bleeding is for internal bleeding. It'll work on excessive periods, but go to the cause. The cause 9 times out of 10 is up at the top, at the pituitary. But then I see a parathyroid down, and you could have other pituitaries down. I don't know how tall you are, whether your menses is irregular, things like that. But let's just say you want to spend some time fixing mama here. You got too many serious things here, sweetheart. That's too serious to ignore. In my opinion. You can go to a medical doctor and get their opinions. You're probably okay. We'll just take out your uterus, leave your ovaries. Why? It's a closed house. Ovarian estrogen and progesterone is not systemic. Adrenal is, but not ovarian. So why would you need the ovaries? They just atrophy away anyway. So, but doing a hysterectomy instead of fixing the problem, that's their thinking. I just love that thinking. It's so antiquated, it's dark agey. To me, this is all dark agey crap. A possible polyp. And a cyst on my right ovary. That comes out easy with, moving your... getting your lymph moving through your kidneys. I am dizzy. See, it's all back here in the back of your head, part of the burning. That's your cerebellum. That's not good, sweetheart. You've got to get this lymph moving out of your head, down your back, get your kidneys filtering to accomplish that. Really get focused on this. You can use cold compresses here when you feel dizzy or you feel that burn. Use cold compresses back here. Get in the shower, not cold, run on the back of your head and down your back. That's alkaline. Alkaline has the effect of loosening up hardness or dehydration caused by acidosis. Flashes, mood swings, and I've always had to throw up stomach acid every morning to feel better. Oh, honey, man, no. First of all, you now radically change your diet. I hope you have now that you've got on this site, because this isn't good. And then, of course, if you can afford it, get on these herbal kits here we've got, or send it in. I'll do a 14-week protocol for you, but you want to get going. You want to get going, like now, and no matter whose you use, you want to get your focus down what you're going after in your body and why. Because you've got some serious problems for a young woman, and that's not good. This throwing up stomach acid, I think it's a good way to get stomach, pancreatic, or liver cancer. I mean, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to say you got to do something about this. You can't just sit there and let this happen and think, oh, that's all. I feel better after I throw up. Okay. A lot of time it's pancreas, low bicarbonate, that sort of thing. But I'm telling you, with situations like all of this, you don't want to do any protein. You don't want to anyway to detoxify. But in a case like this, guys, you never put a woman like this on protein. You'll send her to hell, Bill, quick. You don't do that kind of stuff. I never heard of any of these fasts and cleansing, and God has pushed me into your direction. Well, you can see why. I have had lots of trauma in the past, and recently lots of deaths in my family. Well, that's why your adrenals are taking a dumper, that's for sure, but I can tell you're probably born with them dumping. So this is really traumatic on you, but you have to realize, and all of you have to realize, that you're born alone, you actually live alone, and you die alone, you leave alone. You're always alone, as is all other creatures. Every blade of grass is individual. Every animal is individual. Every tree is individual. Every plant is individual. Every mineral. So every snowflake is individual. I mean, it's just, you have to understand the massiveness of the Creator. Massiveness, whatever name you wish to give it. I like to give it God because it's my most common name. But it's, no concepts of the mind can encompass that which is infinite. And you can't even try because it's infinite. And then you'll reduce the Creator down to something that's finite, which is insanity. You just have to understand the nature of things like that. So people are going to come to this planet. Souls are, take on bodies and leave their bodies. Some not so long, some live a long time here. But as it is on all levels. So we have to get prepared for our friends and our loved ones coming and going. Because we're going to come and go. So that's the thing, you have to get strong within the self. It's the only way you can get yourself out of that emotionally is get strong within the self. Love mom. Because mom's a good mom, And you're a good soul. You just have to give yourself due respect and understand that you're going to see a lot of things on the outside here that looks real bad. Don't let it affect the inside. Keep your inside pure and clean because it's your house. And if you invite others in your house, make sure they take off their shoes, if you know what I mean. Stress is my enemy, no kidding. But that's your adrenals. Your enemy is your inability to control that. Your enemy isn't the stress, it's your inability to take the stress and deal with it properly. But that happens with weak adrenals. When the adrenals are weak in people, it's hard to learn how to control stress or not care. But you have to learn detachment. Part of how you learn to leave this world is to not care for this world. The more you care for everything in this world, the more it's your world. And that's okay if you want to stay around and keep the cycles going here, but there's so much more finer, more nirvanic, greater in every way worlds that are beyond this world. Work on some out-of-body experiences, but Mama, you take care of yourself here, honey. You've got some problems you got to fix here. I'm losing my hair. Well, don't you feel that? Why? Look at all this acidosis in the cerebellum. Acids is what strips you. So when you see hair loss, let medical doctors blame it on thyroids. Understand what brings thyroids down is the same thing that brings hair down. They keep working from the ass end of the donkey. And I feel, I managed to push myself to still enjoy life for my kids' sake. 16, 14, 8, and 9 months. My God. A 9-month-old, and the next age is 8, the next age is 14, and then 16. Wow, what a family. But physically and mentally, I'm drained. Well, Mama, you got to empower yourself. You got to take a little time for yourself. You got to start eating right. You got to clean your body out and enhance some of your tissues. I don't know where your affordability is with 4 kids, but you've got to get up there and do some things for yourself, because you've got some serious issues here. Matter of fact, I dare say that you got a lot of issues dealing with MS. So be real careful, because everything I'm reading here is a perfect setup for MS or worse. Leukemia, you got a setup for that. So even though these are names, and they really don't mean diseases, but they do mean problems within the human body that's serious. Okay, so you want to fix this. Notice my cheeks and forehead are red and burning behind my ears. Oh my God, you're on fire, honey. You're toxic. You're burning up. You got to fix yourself, sweetie. I don't know how much to say that. I've been to doctor after doctor who tell me I'm fine. Oh. For you medical doctors that are listening to this, this is what your brother is telling the people. This is why I'm so hard on the medical community, and not to be narcissistic about it, and not to be any other way defamatory, but we've got to stop this sort of thing. This lady's in trouble, and her medical doctor, she's been a doctor after doctor after, oh, you're okay. You know why they say that? Because they don't understand what's going on, and they don't want to look stupid. But saying that is stupid. This lady's hurting, and you go there and say, oh, you're fine, no problem. That's why you guys on YouTube are so valuable. I don't think you really, I hope you guys understand how valuable you are, and why standing tall with simplicity and honor and truthfulness and all this is vital, because this world has very little of that. And unless we stand up and do it, who else is? God doesn't come down, He's already down here. Or it is, through you, through me, through her, through everyone else. So what you do with that is a direct feedback to it. I don't know how to go about adding juicing due to the vitamin K. You should forget the vitamin K and get rid of vegetables. You don't want to do vegetables right now. Vegetables is not good for you right now with blood clots, even though that vitamin K issue is bull crap. All I've got to tell you is that go to the fruits and the berries and the melons. They're the only thing that refurbishes the blood, but they're the only thing that also refurbishes what? The lymphatic system, which is where your huge problem is. Big problem here. Please help me. I'll be happy to help you. I'm so excited and eager to learn how to heal myself and move on to help others learn. Oh, good. Thank you, and God. Oh, you guess, man. Your video support from the Facebook groups have already made a difference in my life. You got it. My blood pressure has always been around 110 over 80. Okay, so she's 110 over 80. 80 is the kidneys, right? That's the bottom, the diastolic. The top is the systolic, adrenals. All right, she's 110 over 80. She should be 60 on the bottom. All healthy people run 60 to 70 blood pressures, all of them. So let's say that she's supposed to be 60 on the bottom, right? 120 is textbook on the top. But let's just say that she's 20 points too high on the bottom. Just for the sake of argument, let's subtract 20 points off of 110. Where are we? We're at 90. So her true blood pressure, when she fixes her kidneys, that 80 is going to come right on down towards 60. But so will the top number. And she's already low on the top number, and she's really going to go low. That's the chronic fatigue she's experiencing. And you have to correlate that. You have to look at that. And that tells you right there your adrenals. But we already knew that, right? I have started dry brushing in Epsom baths. I need to know where to start this process and how to do it safely. First of all, you want to get on a diet of fruits, berries, and melons. And I would do that ASAP. And it could create some radical detox in you jumping into that level, but it sounds like the guys on Facebook and everything are helping you really well. But move toward that goal of having 100% fruits, berries, and melons for a few months. All right? Few months. Because you really need to fix some vital stuff here. Also, if you got the affordability, you want to get after your kid. Your first kit, you're going to get into the liver, you're going to get into the lymph, you're going to get into the kidneys, you're going to get into the endocrine glands, you're going to deworm yourself, you're going to get into the GI tract. And then you go deeper from there. Remember, the two kidneys, the two lymphatics. You're going to get deeper and deeper and start opening up those doors. You might want to contact, someone here and set that up. Talk to Jen B, my personal assistant, or something like that. But you need to get yourself straightened around here. This is a serious case, guys, and this lady needs to fix herself before something really, she pushes out a point that's going to make her be strict. Solo use of an herbal formula. That's it. Dina. I have several family members that believe medical doctors know best about health. No offense. They don't even go to school for that. So how would they understand health when they don't go to school for that? That's what people do. I don't understand. That's how good brainwashing that the World Bank does. Because you have to call it World Bank because that's Rockefeller's. You just got to understand when you look at them. And when you remember I told you 60 Minutes did a piece on medical doctors that kill people or hurt people too much in one state and move out to another state. How does that state protect their people from these guys? And they went to the head of the AMA at the time, and he said, "That buyer beware." Not patient, not poor suffering soul. That buyer beware. That's how they think in monetary form. I've been wondering if some of the formulas can be used to help them with their pain, even though they choose not to do an herbal protocol or any dietary change. I think anything will help. I was talking to someone, and he was using just one formula. It made a huge difference, whether it was inflammation joints or healthy joints, whatever we call it now. But something like that, absolutely. Anything's helpful. But then you want to kick out that which we know is bad. Dead animals. When you're hurting and you're in pain, you don't do protein. And just give them this thing. Tell your loved ones, spend 1 week just on fruits and veggies. I don't care if they steam some of them. Just 1 week. But if you can get them on 100% raw, just say eat all the fruits, the salads, and the fruits and berries and melons you can for 1 week. If you're in pain. And check the pain levels as each day goes on, and then go out and have yourself a protein meal. Go out and have yourself a standard meal. That's all you have to tell them. You don't have to convince them. This will convince them because it's actual. We only talk about facts here, facts that have been experienced. And all I can tell you, if you're in pain, just spend a week or two on raw foods and then go back to a high protein meal or something and just show yourself. You don't have to go much further than that. You don't have to try to convince them if you can get them to do that diet. Say, let me show you. We can prove everything we do. This isn't just I'm guessing or this is a theory. I don't work in those worlds because that's where we are now. For example, could I give them an eye wash alone for some eye pain relief? Absolutely. Absolutely. But if you have pain in the eye, holy crap, you want to, this is serious problems. You start getting glaucomic pain, which is the lymph system, and it's an acid pain, which most pain is. Not good. Not good. You can use the eye wash to maybe hold it at bay for a while, but eventually, going to get them, eventually. Or an antispasmodic, absolutely. For sure with the antispasmodic, and also the bleeding formula. If you get a bleeding or you're bleeding too much, even on periods, you want to fix the pituitary and stuff like that, of course, but you can use this to control that a little bit. Absolutely, that's a fun thing. You can do that. Formula for back pain or PMS, absolutely. You can play with any of those things like that. But if they can just change even a few things in the diet and take a couple of herbs, that's a whole lot better. This is James. Hello, Doc. It's me again, James. Thanks so much for answering my uncle's question on spinal bifida. You got it, man. It has given him hope that he will be able to get back. That's the job, I think, of all you guys on Facebook, myself, all of us working at this level, is to give not only hope, but the power to gain that hope. The awareness, the tools, and we have all that. It's a matter of acceptance and working the programs. That's all it is. Because all it is just factual stuff. Simplistic, so it's available for every level of consciousness to understand. I've got good old farmers and good old cowboys knocking themselves out on the raw guys. So I've got every level of consciousness doing this. So it isn't like one level can not do this. I bet you we could get Honey Boo Boo to do this. Well, maybe not. Yeah, maybe. He wants to know how he would go about getting an appointment with you. You have to call him Jennifer B. We call her Jen B because we have two Jennifers. One's the owner or one of the top club members now, and that's Jennifer W. And then we have Jennifer B., which is my personal assistant. I was also wondering if you had any advice for me on my condition, vitiligo on my back. Again, pituitary. Get after that pituitary now before it goes, you change all over the place. So you want to go after that pituitary gland. But you can use a pituitary glandular, but you don't want to get that too hard. I'd only do one in the morning and one in the evening. But I would also clean my lymph system in my head out, get your sinuses drained and all that. Do you believe this can be reversed, or have you seen reversal? Vitiligo? Oh, absolutely. My MD was wanting me to try Vitar, which is a cream. You know what? How does a cream help the gland that controls skin pigmentation? How does a cream change that? As you may know, made of tarmac, and I am puzzled as to how this would help me. You're puzzled. That's why none of these ever do. Look at dermatologists, and how many people have used cream after cream after cream on acne or on psoriasis and things like that. Never works, does it? It's steroids. I mean, it always seems to go away, and then wham, it comes back with a vengeance. We've talked about this a lot through these videos. So you're right, James. Smart guy. Go after the pituitary, though. That's the big boy. And you go after the health of the body, because this is way up here from the kidneys. So you really just want to clean up your whole body and clean out your bowels, get your kidneys filtering, that sort of thing. Oh, this is Holly. Hi, Holly. I just discovered your work a week ago and was wondering if you might have any advice for my sister. Oh, this is the one I saw. I've tried to help her all I can. She was diagnosed with lupus and P.C.O.S. That's polycystic ovarian syndrome, as far as I know, unless they put another name on that. She is morbidly obese, chronically constipated, has terrible acne, etc. All right. So what's going on here? First of all, you can relate to chronic obesity, to constipation, acne, the cysts, the lupus. Where are we going to go? Where are we going to go in the human body for all those things? And can all those things be linked? Absolutely. And what system are we going to be in? Is this a blood problem? Is ovarian cysts the blood problems? Are these blood cysts or blood clots? Chronically constipated, is that a blood problem? How about obesity? Is that a blood problem? Nope. There's definitely steroids and neurotransmitter problems here, but what gland would we be going to? We'd be going right up to her adrenal glands, wouldn't we? And if she's real obese, we're going to take a look at the thyroid as well. We might even want to walk over to her pituitary gland. That's why her eye pictures would be valuable. Because this person, and when you get someone that's very overweight like that, you might not get them all raw for a while. You might want to give them some steamed vegetables and some cooked food. Work them down, because there's a big emotional component involved in obesity this bad. But that also comes from weak adrenal glands and thyroid. So you get bipolar. You can get some problems going on here in these poor souls that have to deal with these bodies that have these weaknesses in them. Chronic constipated, you got two reasons. One, neurological, that's the adrenals. The adrenals control the autonomic. So there's another issue. You want to get your neurotransmitters up. This will help peristalsis, of course. But what's another reason? The lymph system in the wall of the GI tract, after years, gets hardened. Not only she could be very obese and have extreme malabsorption. So between getting a hardened bowel wall and a very low neural response creates constipation. So that's, and of course, anything you eat that's of a meat's very constipating. I don't know if you guys realize that, but animal protein is very constipating. Beans, grains, all these things are very, very constipating. Now, whole grains can have a better action and movement on you than, of course, white flour, but still, terrible acne. That means her skin it's just her lymph system backed up real bad. But it would be when she has adrenals and kidneys down. She would get obese when that happens. Some people go the other way, though. Some people can have this same weakness and get morbidly thin. And why? Same thing, malabsorption. It's funny how that is. I've tried to get her eating healthier, but every time she improves her diet even a little bit, she will have menstrual bleeding so bad that she has ended up in the hospital several times. Where are we going? Where did that statement just take us? Took us right up to her pituitary, didn't it? And her pituitary is probably sitting right down on her thyroid, parathyroid, and adrenals. So this is the case where you got to go after her pituitary to get the bleeding to stop. You know, and she can take the bleeding formula. I mean, this is where we're playing. This is the art of detoxification. You take a soul like this, that has this body problems, first of all, you're going to talk to her about the diet, no question, but you're going to help her with that a little bit. You know she's massively full of fungus. So you're not only going to deworm her, you're going to keep her on like Parasite M for an extended period of time, get rid of this fungus. That's going to be a big issue here. The other thing is you got to get her adrenals up. So I would do the 400s, to be honest with you, on a glandular. I'd also hit those kidneys because filtration is key to get rid of the acne, get all this inflammation out of her, to help open up the bowel walls. Of course, enhancing the adrenals, you're going to enhance neurotransmitters, so it's going to increase peristalsis. Getting her on more raw is going to give her neurological energy through the raw, and then a little better electrical fiber will help, particularly fruit fiber when you're constipated this bad. Vegetable fiber can actually constipate people. With me, it helps me move better, but still, it can constipate some people. The bleeding will sometimes go on for months, and oh my God! Well, that's when this is a perfect shoe-in. This is where you use the bleeding formula. This is when you go after her pituitary, and it's obvious in her size and stuff that is somewhat of an issue. But that also means she's got what other weakness? You know, it's funny how we can correlate things with the eye and what we see, but inevitably when we see pituitary problems, what else do we see? Chronic transverse colon. So sure, bowels are already probably chronic, and you'd have to look at her eyes and see where she's at with that. Sometimes she will go many months without menstruating at all. That's the pituitary. But I would also give her the female reproductive formula to tone her up. I wouldn't give her estrogenic formulas. You wouldn't want to give this person black cohosh at all. You would want to give her our female, which is more progesterone formula, a toning, strengthening formula. This has been going on somewhere around 20 years. Imagine that we can't find a doctor of any level to help us when we have these kind of problems. That's why I do this. This is disgusting. This planet is reaching a new low almost all the time. So you guys are valuable as all get out. I can't even overemphasize the value each and every one of you that get yourselves well and help others are. That's how we do it here in creation. My feeling was that her organs of elimination are so congested, menstruation may be the only means left to eliminate. Well, you might have something there, but it does suggest she's very toxic in the uterine wall, too. You know, it does suggest that. Fruitarian women, remember, just only spot when they're healthy. If your uterus is clean, there's no reason to have a heavy bleeding cycle. But if your pituitary is off, you can have it no matter what happens, because it's just the way the FSH and all this is taken to the ovaries. And then when you're on and off like that, it just shows that your pituitary is a big issue, especially when you add all the other problems this poor individual's having. And when she eats lighter and begins to awaken waste that is now attempting to escape. Well, she's going to go through some ups and downs. When you're this big and you're having this many problems, you're going to go through some ups and downs. I hope you let her read this video, Holly, or see this video, because she really needs to, because she needs to take care of herself. She's got some serious issues here. She wants to take care of herself and get all that. All this can be straightened around all of it. The thing is, with being so overweight, now you didn't say how much overweight, but I said my heaviest person I've ever worked on was a 770-pound man. That's my largest client, 770 pounds. Got him down to 500. Then I didn't see him anymore. I tried to get her to do enemas to open up her bowel a bit, but she is so backed up she can't even get water to enter. Holy crap. You need to take her to a colon therapist, honey. You need to set up some trips to the colon therapist. Essential. Open her up. Get her opened up. She could have impacted fecal matter. Remember, you got to tell her no cheese. She's probably going to crave cheeses and breads, the very thing that's extremely constipating to her. Eggs, extremely constipating. She's got to stay away from these kind of foods, or she just battle this. And then I don't know if a person likes to live like this. And I hope she does. I hope Holly, she takes your advice and she listens to this and she goes forth, because suffering like this only gets worse. Doesn't get better, only gets worse unless you fix yourself. And we've laid out easy how to fix yourself. Understandably, after this bleeding happening many times, she is now afraid to try anything at all. Yeah, she's got to fix herself to stop this, because it's there or not there. She's got to fix herself. Now remember, we got the bleeding formula that'll stop the heavy bleeding, but going after the pituitary gland should balance that out sooner than later. Generally speaking, in my experience with these cases, which we've had a great many of them, they balance out fairly quickly, either with the female reproductive and or the pituitary formula. I know that she is in critical condition. She will die if she doesn't find a way to move forward. If you have any advice, I have lots of advice for this soul. I'm very much enjoying your YouTube videos and look forward to using this. Oh, thanks, honey. Thanks, Holly. Appreciate it. Hope you get your friend better, because she can't be happy. You know, I know people try to be happy through their suffering, and that just shows the beauty of the individual, you know. Hello, Dr. Morse. My name is Gregory, and my second name is Robert, too. Hi, Robert. I love what you're doing on this. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thanks, Gregory. I appreciate that. Detox engineer. Yeah. Well, it's, it's an art, that's for sure, But a lot of it, you just have to know when to hold them, when to fold them, and what did you say? When to run? You'll never get me to forget that one. I watched all your videos, read all Krishnamurti or Twitchell's books, and also like Enigma. Woo! Gregory! Bro! Love that. Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, what's not to like about those things? If you get Krishnamurti, you get it. You get it. You can use the Twitchell's works as the map maker, and then Krishnamurti as the now guy that teaches you to get beyond the conditioned mind. And man, that's your tools. That's your freedom. That's your doorway out. And then you know where you're going. It's not like a mystery and you never had out-of-body experiences, so you don't know what the worlds are like or where you're going. No, you get fully aware, fully knowledgeable, and that's even a greater fun thing. We're living these little lives in shells. I like Gregory already, man. I started to worry about my wife's cholesterol level, which she is struggling already for a few years, and especially for the last year, though she is on 70% fresh orange juice. Oh, I forgot. Oh, darn. I was going to bring you guys. I've been sucking down some California navel orange juice, and I've got a navel this big from California. California, you've got my blessings, man. I never seen navel oranges from California that big, bigger than grapefruits, and it's good all the way through. You don't have a dry part. Not organic though, but still tastes good. I start to all right. So if you have cholesterol problems, that you have low adrenals. And generally speaking, and I've been trying to look at this real close, generally speaking, your cortisol levels are low, meaning that you could have a little blood sugar problems coming in the future, low or high, either way. But this is the adrenal glands. What this means is that she's too acidic, and her steroids are not adequate enough to fight this acidosis. So the body uses a lipid, which is the main lipid actually of the body, I think, are cholesterols or sterols at one level or another. And these cholesterols are used for multiple purposes. One, steroid production. Two, anti-inflammatories. You know, you got them in sugar metabolisms, mineral utilizations, the neutralization of testosterone and estrogen and aldosterone. You got all kinds of uses for these things. So it's showing, though, she's too acidic, man. Her adrenals are down, her kidneys are down, her lymph system's up, basically. Too acidic. And the only way to back this away is to detoxify yourself. It's the only way to do that. Fix your adrenals, get your kidneys filtering, and then let your system clean out, and your cholesterol will come down nice, and it'll never go up again if you don't toxify yourself and break your kidneys down and things like that. Some veggies and some cheating once every other week. She also takes adrenals, not regularly, though. Well, she needs to get on this, because it isn't the cholesterol that's going to get, it's what's behind that. You know, all that acidosis. And then, of course, with too much cholesterol, you can occlude arteries or vesicles in some way or another and go down. His cholesterol is 271, triglycerides are 282, HDL is 42, and LDL is 171. Well, according to medical doctors, 171 is not too bad, but her total cholesterol may be a little high, but just a representative acid, but she's not too high in HDL or LDL. You know, LDL is the low-density lipids. That's the one medical doctors call the bad cholesterol. That's the one your body uses to fight acidosis, even though HDL is in the cell wall. So that's also used to fight acids or protect against acid damage. Veggies plus some SAD diet a year ago. This surprises me, and I'm not sure whether oranges subacidity could cause this high cholesterol, although oranges are really ripe. Well, here's another thing you might want to look at here. I once had this lady come in, and she threw her blood work down on my desk. She was mad. She said, I came to you to lower my cholesterol, and it's 100 points higher. I came to you, and it was 350. Now it's 450. And I said, wait a minute. Our program doesn't increase cholesterol levels, but it does clean them out. And I said, you're in the middle of a detoxification program. I said, and we were doing cholesterol checks in our clinic at the time. And so I said, wait right here. So I had the nurse come check her cholesterol. 150? She's going, what's this? I said, you're detoxifying. You're going to see it go up and down. So unless you have, several blood tests to verify that is a constant high, but then that tells you immediately that you're too acidic. So detox always fixes that. But during a detoxification or high orange diet, you could be pulling cholesterol out of the tissues and creating a little elevation in the blood work. But that doesn't show that much high cholesterol as far as I'm concerned, except the total cholesterol. I don't know. You know, I wouldn't get so upset about it. What I would do is get more on oranges, more on grapes, get my kidneys to filter, protect your urine, make sure there's sediment in it, get my adrenals up, and start cleaning my bowels out and just getting my body healthy for a while. Everything will go down to normal. Any cholesterol that's plaquing will unplaque. Everything will open up as hydration takes place and kidney filtration takes place. Or there might be one more thing which could cause that. We are undergoing with quite successful life situation, and I'm wondering if my wife's quiet emotional attitude together with stress overwhelms her adrenals so much and can cause high cholesterol immune response. Well, not really. I wouldn't think that. I would say that, well, I don't know. I mean, I think you probably have a little thing going there when we think that in a stressful situation, your adrenals are down. You start using your epinephrines and norepinephrines as you would in any activity, which means you're shutting down your dopamines and acetylcholines, which are for elimination. So in an activity or in a stressful event, you lose elimination neurotransmitters because the focus is energetics to muscles, to fight or flight syndromes. So that's the stress. That's why the longer stressed you are, the less elimination. It's like traveling. When you travel, it's hard to poop. It's hard to eliminate properly. And that's because your epinephrines are moving, and that shuts down dopamines, and you just can't. That's why dopamine is so important for elimination. But that's just, that would be stressful in that way. But also, she could have low adrenals, which would accentuate that problem more than what she would normally do, because normally you should be able to handle some stress. You know, because life is, again, it's going to get a lot, it can get a lot worse, let's put it that way. But you got to learn to be detached, because you got to get to the self and don't let anything hurt you or bother you. That's why I'm teaching you about detachment and everything else, because you got to achieve it if you want freedom in your life. If you want to be part of the, you know, that old saying, lead dog. If you're not lead dog, the view's always the same. Well, lead dog is your freedom. And if you're not free, then the view is always the same. Therefore, question, can stress and emotions cause immune response with high cholesterol? Don't think so, but if she maintained that too long, absolutely can cause higher cholesterol, because in the maintenance of stress, always you're going to lose your adrenals. That's going to shut down your kidneys. Therefore, your lymph's going to back up, and then acidosis is going to accelerate. And in that way, your cholesterols will go up. Absolutely, in that way. Good question, man. Or just should go deeper. Go deeper, baby. Use your eyes. Get a picture of your eyes. You know, we got a simple way to take a picture on the YouTube there, and it works every time really well. Get some nice pictures there since Jen B put that up there. So good stuff there, Gregory. Love you, man. Good brother right there. Good brother. What's not to like about Twitchell's work and J. Krishnamurti and Raw and life and love and joy and happiness? What's not to like? Oh, man. I might have an appointment coming in here. Oh, we'll see. So if I have to cut this, I apologize to you, because I have an appointment at 3:30 now. If they don't show, we can talk to 5 o'clock. Or close thereof. My mom had a left-sided hemorrhagic stroke November of 2011. She was in ICU for almost a month and was able to step down to intermediate for about a month and then to the normal floor until the middle of February, when she was discharged to an inpatient rehab until the middle of, rehab for 3 weeks and then 1 month in a nursing home near our home. Is that sad? All right, so if you had a hemorrhage, what's the first thought you want to think? If you have a herniation, or you have a, what's the word escaping my mind right now, but when you have a aneurysm, what are we talking about? What's the problem here? We're going to go to the wall, the vascular walls, and we're going to find weaknesses, aren't we? Whenever you find weaknesses in connective tissue, where in the body is it going to take you? First, the assumption that you're too acidic is made, or you're dumping too many acid foods into your blood and losing calcium, or you're a smoker, where you're dumping smoke, which is whether it's a weed or tobacco or mullein herb or whatever you smoke, it turns into acids. Combustion creates acid smoke. And that goes right into the lungs, right into the blood. That's why vaporizers are there and all kinds of things are out there now. Bongs if you have to, whatever. Tincture, but whatever you combust and inhale, it could be leaves, it could be a house on fire. You don't have long to live if you're trapped in that, because it acidifies the blood faster than the blood can steal calcium out of its own walls to defend against that acidosis. So the pH so radically changes for so long, death is imminent. Death happens under acidosis, guys. So that's something very, very important to take a look at there. So I would be doing a couple of things with this case. Always upper circumbrain and nerve on a post-stroke. Pre-stroke, if you know that they have cholesterol plaquing, you always protect your people. But upper circumbrain and nerve, essential to bring her back faster. Another essential, fruits, berries, and melons only. I don't care if she's in a nursing home. Tell them you're going to handle your mom's dietary needs, and you'll get her back 10 times faster. Had plenty of strokes. I told you the case of a triple stroke case I got back once. They wanted to bury him. His wife called. She was an old retired nurse, and she said, I don't want to bury my husband. I said, don't then. Get a feeding tube put in, take him home, and I'll show you how to bring him back. 3 months later, he's sitting up counting his ABCs. So, and we did total raw. Although, for the first couple of weeks, he's on the raw, on the fruits, berries, and melons only, and the herbs, but he's getting a lot of mucus, not detox mucus, mucus. And I'm thinking, and I called her up and I said, did they give him and send you home Ensure? Oh, they sent me boxes of Pedisure or Ensure, whatever it was. I said, oh my God, mucus forming. You're clogging him up. We can never get him back when you do that. She stopped that immediately. He cleared right up and on we went. So, you have to be real careful how you treat strokes. And you want to think parathyroid, strengthen connective tissue. We want to go after that. So I would do, for me, I would give her the parathyroid formula 1-3 times a day at least with a bones formula. You know, where you got or the superfood 2 formula, high calcium formula. Remember I told you when we had the lab analyze our superfood blends, I was shocked at the calcium in there. I didn't realize how much calcium in plants that I had used. These superfoods, amazing. So I was real happy to see that. She wasn't back home until April or the very 1st of May 2012. She was making a bit of progress with her leg on the right side, but not much at all with her arm and hand. Because you can't regenerate on any food but fruits, berries, and melons, neurologically speaking. And you want to strengthen her connective tissue. You don't want another pop. They had told us that the stroke was in the language pathways of the brain and she would probably have a great deal of difficulty speaking. She did attempt to speak in the hospital and afterwards in the rehab and nursing home and did okay, but she had terrible aphasia. I forget what that means, tell you the truth. You know what? Don't worry about it. You go in there with upper circuit, brain, and nerve. Those are key things. She could say a sentence almost perfectly, and then the next sentence would be a bunch of mumbling and nothing we could understand. Yeah, I mean, but that's still a good sign that she can still speak. So you get up there with upper circuit, brain, and nerve. Even if you do it 4 times a day, get your mom on total raw, total fruits, berries, and melons. She'll probably detox a little bit in there, maybe a little get a cold and flu. All right, let her pass on that. Let her pull out a bunch of mucus out of her head and stuff. Inform that nursing home what you're going to do. This is your mom. You're going to take care of the mom. Have her sign a power of attorney over her health. Thank you. Now, I have the power of attorney over my mom's health. That's how you do that kind of stuff. My question for you is this it? Is this something that is just past or able to heal with food? Oh yeah, absolutely. Even man's nervous system, absolutely. But let me tell you, you got to be way up there energetically speaking. And vegetables are not way up there energetically speaking. Get away from vegetables. And if she's a straw, I don't know if she can do anything by mouth. You didn't say. If not, does she have a feeding tube? That's if she has a feeding tube, you got to go right up the feeding tube. You don't let anything stop you in ingesting in your mother the things that are needed to get her back here. Or is this something that we can heal and see her walk again? Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And you want to go after her and protect her from having another one. Because this doesn't mean she's not going to have another one. So much time has passed now, doesn't matter, that I do lose hope that we will ever see her walk. Unless you get at this level, you never will. And I don't mean to put that out as a statement of negativity either. Forgive me, I didn't mean to do that. But I've never seen anyone come out of these on any way than to get up at these high levels. I've never seen it anywhere. So, but I have seen plenty of them come out from our situation by this. Now, I have a couple of cases taking me a while, older people taking a while to get themselves back. That's true. Sometimes it is difficult. So what? They come back and they keep getting back and they keep gaining, Okay? If it takes you a year or two, okay. Better than being a lifetime like that. You know, that's all I got to say. It's better than spending a lifetime miserable. And then all the things that have to go with this, and then that soul stuck in that body that can't hardly communicate. That's another sucky thing. That we will never, okay, she loved talking about the stroke. She is a very intelligent woman and she is an intelligent woman and you will have your mom back at full bore. You go after a few things here, think about it. Very intelligent, love talking to her family and friends, and she shows more frustration with this. I bet she does. I feel sorry for her stuck in that body there. It is frustrating caring for her too because, let me tell you, I'm very aware of everything you're about to say here. I'll just go on, I know it saddens you guys. I already know all that. She is on a lot of medication. I bet she is. None of them will get her back. That's the problem. You have to be careful about what she's on. She had high blood pressure for many years. What would she have? High blood pressure for many years. What is that, guys? Oh, kidneys. And what does that mean? That means a lymphatic problem, right? That means what? Acidosis, right? And what does that mean? The loss of calcium out of structure, or the occlusion, meaning blockages of the vascular system or other systems. Look at that. That came right after a hysterectomy, so you know her lymphatic system's a mess, and was very difficult to control. And she had diabetes. Oh, look, now we're into the blood sugar. So what gland are we in now? The adrenals. So you see what I'm saying, guys? You can always track, no matter what the symptom was, stroke, heart attacks, cancer, lupus, whatever. You can always track it to kidneys and adrenals and the lymphatic system each and every time. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Difficult to control. Diabetes as well was not being controlled effectively. I personally think she may have had sleep apnea as well, but she was, I bet she did. You don't have to diagnose that. You can just tell if someone has it. Sit and listen at night and you'll be able to tell, especially if you're waiting a minute before you hear the next breath. She was only 58 when she had the stroke. This is a young woman. Right now, she is still sad and is very picky about the things she chooses to eat. This is where you want to gain some control over this woman and say, honey, we're going to bring you back, like it or not. When you get in a situation where you're dependent on others, you got to do what they tell you, don't they? So this is a time where you need to switch roles, pay Mr. Mom or Dad to her, and get her back well again. She was never super obese or anything, but she was overweight for her height. She's about 4'11". What do you think we got going on here, boys? Pituitary big time. Where you have pituitary, you have parathyroid, thyroid, and adrenals down, and any other endocrine gland down. Absolutely. She got pituitary big time. Now she is lucky to weigh 100 pounds, although I think it may be less now. Is this damage done? That's it? No, my friend, it isn't. And this is Amy. Hey, Amy, sweetheart, it is not it. You might want to get her on either Marcy or me to help you, but if not, I'll help you through the YouTube here. But I'll tell you what, fruits, berries, melons only, and upper circumbrain and nerve, adrenal 400s, kidneys, lymphatics. You want to go after her, clean up her bowels, clean up this woman called Mom, and you'll have her back. I've never seen a stroke you couldn't get back. And I'm telling you, you can get her back. Sometimes some people are working hard to get it. I tell you, I got a guy now, but he's doing a lot better, and he's only been this 3 months. And I plan for him to, get his butt back. My wife, this is, Joseph in Australia. Yeah. My wife and I have such tremendous, thanks, guys. Oh, man, listen, I appreciate that. Just look at, I know. I tell you what. Any of you guys are up for being condemned by the social consciousness, but who cares? You don't owe your soul to the company store as the World Bank thinks you do. You are God. You are a representative of the God force here. And when you change that, remember, we're not humans having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. And just remember that's what it is. So we don't know any explanation here. Matter of fact, be the power. You be the power, the light, the love. You're not waiting for others to give it to you. You be it. That's that subtle shift between the seeker of God and the knower of God. And that subtle difference is the mind versus consciousness or soul. That simple difference. The mind is always seeking to analyze, to compare, to rationalize. Be the knower and be the power. You walk with true knowingness and power, even if you just have to take that on as a persona for a while. Not narcissism. Okay. All right, I'll shut it off here. Let me just finish this. To tell them I'll be right there. I'm just finishing up a video. I'll be right there. Okay, thanks, honey. I'm sorry, guys. But, you guys be the strength that others need. because there's so many hurting people. They need to see someone strong and with confidence. And there's plenty of you that have got your health to the point where walk with confidence and knowingness and balance. Nothing wrong with balance, but when you have a post-stroke here, you want to go gangbusters. So thanks for that. So each of you be that light and that love and that knowledge for others. And don't let others take you off your game. You know, you be the strong ones. I have a friend of mine who has lost her eyesight. Eyesight many years ago from pressure. Look at that. See, that's that lymph pressure from excess fluid around her brain. I believe that the body can self. So do I. She has not been operated. Oh, wow. And there is no cutting out of anything. Yeah. What do you suggest for her? All right. First of all, you got to get the pressure out of the head. You got to get the acidosis out of the head. So that's lymphatic. Work on those neurolymphatic points. You can do cold compresses to the head now and then. You got to get the kidneys and adrenals up and functioning and filtering. Essential. Clean up the bowel. All of this stuff. Pull all this pressure, this lymphatic acid pressure out of her body. And then you'll see hydration will come in. You can use the eye wash topically and internally and get that blood and lymph moving. But truly the stagnation exists below the head. And so it becomes stagnation in the head. Have I asked too vague a question? Not at all. Not at all. Anyway, God bless you. Oh, thanks, my friends. You guys in Australia, love you guys. No. By the way, is there anything you would like from Australia that could send to you? Your love. That's all I ask for anything. It's just your guys' love and support and help me to change this world. Essential. But no, this is a case I'd love too. This is a good case to work on here. And that is you got to get this lymph out clean and moving. That's what breaks down everything. All right? You use upper circuit, brain and nerve for sure. You for sure are going to get the adrenals up. You're going to go after the kidneys. You're going to go after her lymphatic system. Clean up the GI tract so the brain can drain easier. Hopefully she'll have some cold and flu-like symptoms, pulling the mucus out of the sinuses and stuff like this, and relieve some of this pressure. If you have to, candle her ears. You know, candle her ears about 3 or 4 candles per ear. Start pulling lymph every way you can to relieve pressure. Best way to do it. And then rebuild. And that's how you do it. And fruits and berries and melons, the same thing with optic nerves or anything else. Fruits, berries, and melons. I love you guys. Sorry I had to hurry. It's always, so someday maybe I'll have the time to spend a lot more with that, you know. And help a lot more of you through this this YouTube channel. But for now, I love you all, guys. Thank you all for taking care of yourselves and getting yourselves reconnected with the fun side of life again. No matter what's going on outside, be free and happy inside, because no one else will do it for you. You got to do it yourselves. So have a good afternoon or day or whatever, whenever you get this. Chris has been so busy. We've had trouble with our websites, and it's like, oh, God. Always. But then again, you have the positive and you always have the negative right at the heels. And don't let that negative in. Love you guys. Have fun. And talk to you soon.